Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the League of Legends College Championship. I am here with Bonnie Bernstein. Now, you are the longtime sports reporter for ESPN, multiple sports broadcasts, but now you're here producing a documentary around UC Irvine and their journey through the tournament. So with your huge background in traditional sports, what really interested you in collegiate League of Legends?
When I started learning about esports, I realized how many parallels there are between traditional sports and esports, whether it's all of the preparation to all of the VOD review, what they do in between games to make matchups, the minimum GPAs they need to maintain, the fact that UCI has a strength and conditioning coach and a team psychologist, and how important communication and teamwork is. If I just described all of those things to anybody, they'd say, oh, that's a basketball team. The reality is that's an esports team too, and that was really interesting to me.
And UC Irvine, favorite team coming into this tournament, as they were the winners of last year. But what about that team, and what about maybe that organization and program really stood out to you?
Well, just the amount of resources that they allocate to the program. And really, when you look at UCI, it's not just the quality of the esports program, but the university is one of the best gaming schools in America also because they have this amazing computer game science major that's not just about game design and game development and coding, but all of the other extensions of esports that kids have the opportunity to pursue afterwards.
And you've spent a lot of time with the players over the past few weeks, or excuse me, the past few months, I understand. How are they feeling coming into this tournament? We both know they're a little confident.
Well, I think the mantra is the only team we have to worry about is ourselves. You know, obviously anybody who follows League of Legends, even at the LCS level, they know Bloodwater and they know Youngbin. For Avi as the newcomer, it was great for him to, I think, get the nerves out in game one against CC yesterday. Evan had a huge matchup at top, which, you know, he managed to survive. So, you know, going against a team that they beat last year and that mission for redemption that Columbia College had, to overcome that, I think was an additional boost of confidence to a team that's already, as you mentioned, pretty confident.
Well, Bonnie, thank you so much. I think we hear them behind us getting ready to get into the game, and I want to see how that game is going to go. So let's hear from the casters at the desk.
Thank you, Avalie and Bonnie Bernstein, for taking the time to chat with us. Welcome back to Game 2 of this semifinal between UCI and Western. Western has selected Red Side, and we just got to hear quite a bit into the minds of UCI from Bonnie. She's been with them for the past few weeks doing the ESPN documentary, and how confident they are, but also how much learning they're getting out of this experience and what they're provided to go through that experience.
They have tons of resources to help them out and get them over some of those hurdles that you face when it's your first time on stage. So for a guy like Avi, the fact that he has veterans all around him, a coaching staff, sports background to help him out. So he's done very well. I'd actually say he's been maybe the top performer on this UCI squad so far in the tournament. Had an excellent Lee Sin performance in that previous game, and in the series yesterday. Some monstrous Talia performances.
Well, not again. Not this time. No more Talia for him.
Could get the Lee again, though. You never know.
Could get the Lee again. Did play quite well. Was able to wreak havoc around the map. Knocked her, or rather, Nico and Hecarim banned out by the side of UC Irvine. See Bloodwater on your screen there with Blaze Nova, and your coaches, Coachman at Tower of God on the side of UC Irvine, and Coach Leto there on the side of Western as they prepare their team for this next match in the series.
Yep, and I'm curious what they want on the red side for Western. You assume that means that they have a counter pick prepared that they feel like is what they need. And I'm curious what it was, because last time they got pretty good solo inners. The Akali and the Silos were two champions that have been tearing it up at MSI. Did not see super substantial changes, so they should still be pretty strong, but could not convert that into a win after a pretty close game.
Silas again, you have to expect it. Deskerton picks that up as his Vladimir is banned. We basically just see the Aatrox on their side. That Akali is taken away from Gorka this time. And they may have a jungler going in for Julius just so he feels comfortable and knows that is locked in. They don't have to do it now. They can choose to get a bot lane if they want.
Maybe the Draven, though, something that has been banned a couple times against short hop, something he is renowned for. Not the case, though.
Not the case, just the Aatrox. And then the Draven, right? You're just like,
now
you know what? What's the point?
Just flashing it, putting it in their mind. You know, UCI, I can still play this. Don't forget about it.
I like that. How much do you think that actually plays a role?
Probably not too much.
Okay.
I always like seeing it, but hopefully UCI has remembered that he does play Draven and looks like it's not going to be the case.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're going to let the guy play Draven, you have something to play into it. You prepare in that sense, so easy peasy.
The Jinx, though, was banned last game, so this time Short Hop's going to get his hands on it, something that he performed very well with in their previous series.
Still have that chance for Kaisa on the side of Youngbin. Played that quite aggressively last time, but possibly the Callista. Let's see who he'll be throwing in this game. Maybe a Galio still left up. We did have that final ban last time, and we don't have a support yet. That can be matched on both sides. What will it be?
Yeah, they went the other direction.
Or Nautilus, big enough. You could throw that guy in just as well.
Yeah. And they could have potentially matched late game, like you're saying, with the Kaisa,
Yeah.
something like that, but they go for the more aggressive approach with the Callista and Nautilus. And it's decent so far, given the fact that there is a pretty immobile champion in the Jinx. Normally, this is when you'd be like, oh no, they picked us with Tom Kench on ban, but Tom Kench got crushed.
Yeah.
The Kench has been benched, thank God. So there
hurt.
is no longer a free Devour to protect these immobile carries, so they're gonna have to go with the Braum, but not quite as good at that role.
You are hooking Silas up at this point. Not that that makes the game, but it just makes him real happy to be able to steal the Death Rocket and Glacial Fisher. Now some pretty good fight prowess there. And what are our bans to start? Avi gets hit. Elise, you might get hit up again as well. The top lane for Captain Nuke, they did hit Rumble for him a few times, so we may see that as a final ban here coming in from Western. And we'll have to see what Irvine has for a second phase homework.
Yeah, not really mismatched. Technically, where those champions can flex does make it slightly mismatched. The fact that Aatrox can, in fact, go in the jungle if they deem it necessary.
Flex match.
Yes,
There you go.
they have been flex matched.
Aurelia taken away. Expect to see the Rumble here. It was a priority from the first time around.
We'll have to see if they go for another jungle ban or if it was just specifically the Elise's early game that they're targeting. With the Callista and the Nautilus, you are saying, like, we want to go really aggressive on your bot lane, probably dive them, especially at 6. And Elise is one of the best champions for that. So, you know, after they ban that one out, they're not feeling scared, apparently, of obviously sending another champion that's great in the early game for dives, potentially. Braum is a pretty annoying champion for the Lee Sin, so I guess that alone is enough for them to feel like they have dissuaded it, potentially.
Yeah.
And the Elise was the only early game jungle ban they felt like they needed to throw down.
Irvine's consideration that Aatrox's flex means Kled and Aurelia get banned coming in for that second phase, so they focus a bit of mid and top with those two. And now we are into our picks. Looks like we're going to leave mid lane open once again for Slasher1144, as he is going to be going up against Deskerton Silas here. Kindred picked up for Julius. Be a little bit more aggressive early in the game now, as opposed to that Nocturne.
A little surprised to see that one come out. It's a pretty strong champion, but it is often not picked into Callista. Callista has a kind of anti-synergy with the ult where no one can die. Everyone's in this invulnerability circle. But during that time, Callista's just stacking up spears, and as soon as the invulnerability ends, Calista rends them all out. And now also with the Zac as well, a champion that can kind of bounce people out of the Kindred ult. They have a couple things that do pretty well into Kindred.
Get abducted. You're also stealing a Kindred ult now if you do need it for your team, but I guess it's always a two-team ult.
That is true.
Agree to agree. It's Zac on this side with one more pickup for the side of Irvine. 5 seconds left. What will it be? Down to the wire. Don't miss it. You'll get bounced out of select and
Some
lose
mid
the game.
laner. All right, or
Yeah,
top
looking
laner
good.
going Jax. All right.
I like it. Captain Nuke actually gets something he's going to be quite aggressive on. You have to stay forward in the lane on this. We'll have to see if he can get the 1v1 fight versus the Aatrox going, as I expect it would be. The Rise and the Vlad are banned for Slasher. What will you bring into the mid lane?
Orianna? Wow, all right. They're going pretty committed to team fighting.
They figure if everybody's on that Kindred ultimate, you're going to be wiped up into the Shockwave. So they are locking in the Kindred. They give, or I'm sorry, locking in the Ori. They give it a little bit more help to short hop here with that pick and shielding. But they are going to have a Nautilus in their face with the Jax, with the Zac, with a Silas. It seems like whoever is on the blue side here is going to be creating the siege and dive team. We saw it from Western in game 1. Now we're getting the Silas composition from Irvine in game 2. But Irvine was able to pick up that victory, so they're riding high on the confidence here. 20 seconds on the clock means no more switching. I think we're already set in the ways we have our champions right now. Double TPs on each side. We're going to get this game going in a few.
We'll have to see how they handle it. It's a very clear case of the early game versus the late game team compositions. UCI usually being the team people think is the better late game team, but they're the ones with that early game comp trying to destroy that Jinx before she comes online. They do have some late game insurance policies with the Jax split push potentially, or a 1-3-1 with Silas as well. But the team fight will definitely be in favor of Western.
Again, excited to see the bot lane. Youngbin kind of stretching the champion pool towards Callista. Bloodwater, always on those champions. He loves his Thresh. Now we're going to get the Nautilus. Haven't really seen too many of those from him. We did get a bit of Galio yesterday, so he has been playing towards the tanky side as opposed to a Yuumi Escort Janna style play, as we really remember him from the LCS days and getting in there. Just about to be on the Rift for game number 2 of this best-of-5 series. We already have Maryville University in the finals. UC Irvine looking to defend that, but Western Ontario wants to bring the cup back home to Canada. Will they be able to do it? They have to keep themselves alive in this series. And they have a few wins to do it here. We'll have to see what happens as we're on the Rift.
We'll have to see how they play around it. Normally, Captain Nuke is kind of the sacrificial lamb for the team, left on an island. Not something that you want to do with Jax, but they also have a Callista, so it feels like, for the most part, UCI will still be focusing on the early game in the bot lane, and Captain Nuke will be on that island to hopefully generate his own lead. It's a bit of an interesting situation with the Kindred as well. One of the things that happened was the change to Scuttle Crabs, and that's always Kindred's first mark. And so you get that a little bit later into the game. A little unfortunate change for the Kindred.
Yeah, Zach doesn't mind.
Zach doesn't mind. Zach,
he's cool with it.
Should be weaker in the early skirmishes against the Kindred, but with the fact that I think UCI should have pushing lanes in the mid and jungle, or excuse me, mid and bot lane, they should be able to contest some of those early Scuttle Crabs and can potentially push Kindred off one of those marks if they have priority in a lane nearby.
So you see the Talisman start here for Avi. He gets pretty good healing and utility out of that, as he can also pick up his blobs. A little bit of a pull there for Gorica. Might mean that Captain Nuke hits level 2, but I don't think he's going to be able to pop Gorica out of lane that fast without an aggressive summoner spell. Ooh, bot lane is a level 1 fight, however, with the crowd control coming in, which was by into concussive blows, and Short Hop did not get the better of that. An instant ignite as they get into lane, and you can almost tell from what just happened, they had that on the plate as soon as they started off. They said, we're going as soon as the minions hit.
They're bloodthirsty.
Yep, have to. You got blood water. Ignite down, no heal even used on that side for UCI, but Short Hop's gonna have to play a little bit safer. And that level 2 wasn't even grabbed by Captain Nuke. He played it slow on that. He'll just let the wave push in here, as he knows Gorica's gonna have to hit those Qs and get the push on the wave anyways.
Yeah, probably a little hard for Jax to contest the initial couple waves with the fact that the Q is a multicast and easily push the wave a little bit faster for the Aatrox.
Surprised we haven't seen actually too much Jax. Or, I'm sorry, Jace. With the J. Have seen that for the past few days here. We're also having that same aspect of few abilities per level coming in and having an aggressive level 1 too. This time that Jax Aatrox will keep an eye on at 12-7, as it's pretty much cleaning up minions in front of his turret for now for Captain Nuke until it pushes back out or hits the turret. Youngbin 19-5 in the bot lane after that first aggression.
Yikes.
And yeah, there's a few minions to clean up, but it's harassed under the turret while it's happening, so don't expect that many to be picked up here.
And like we said, that kind of transition for Bloodwater up into that jungle, they can potentially get that Scuttle Crab. The mark has spawned in that bot lane one. You see the ping go down on top of it. They're going to want to secure that away. Julius, after seeing that invade, says, I'm not even going to go for that. We're going to swap sides. He did get vision of Avi, so he knows that he didn't have a blue buff on him, so he can potentially go to the top side jungle and find some nice farm there after he has to sacrifice the
Are
bot
they
lane
taking
farm.
it? Beautifully
yeah.
done. I love it. It does hurt.
But I do like Julius's response. He didn't even consider trying to go for it.
He says, nah, I see you there. Pushed up in the lane, like you said. Safe play. He's going towards top side. Now we'll take blue, knowing that Gorica has actually had to push on lane. He can do this quite safely without having to see Captain Nuke in his hair. Might even go for Gromp as well. Teleport back to mid lane here for Slasher, 1144. That's 23-25, as it looks like they're just getting themselves set up with the first ring, keeping healthy.
Yep, so despite the fact that UCI had some stronger trades in the bot lane and used that to secure the Scuttle Crab, excellent response by Julius actually nets him a pretty substantial farm lead. Cleared a lot more of his own jungle first. Avi will be able to catch up a little bit with some of those topside jungle farms. Now Julius in a tricky situation.
They say this guy is the rock for the team. That is Julius. See if he plays this one smart. Knows that Slasher could come help, but I like the damage. Descraton trying to play off the ball, out of his lane, and do a little bit more damage than just in his area. Doesn't mean Julius won't be able to finish Raptors. He'll stay healthy, but still trying to make the plays around the map, and that's what'll win you the game.
And surprisingly for Descraton, also going for the Comet on Silas. Not the most frequent rune choice, can be taken in some situations, and in this matchup versus Orianna, you see a little bit more focus on range pokes, so not too much of a surprise to see him take that. Not quite sure it's exactly the right choice. I know a lot of people have different opinions on what's best for Silas, but you know, recently Conqueror's been seeing play. There's a lot of things, but given that there's that range, this is I would say probably safer rune choice in that regard.
I feel like there's a lot of things Conqueror creeps up on. It's just still like few things to be found here and there. So I'm just like, oh, actually Conqueror's good on this. It's just like this in and out summer spell you can use.
It's always new technology to find.
Yep. That's what I love. Where's the skill cap end? Everybody's trying to min-max. Good alt steal by Descraton. Definitely keep him safe from any all-ins for now.
A very awkward ult to steal as a Silas. The shockwave is hold on here, fighting the bot lane.
Crowd control, flashed away from, but then hooked in. Short hop's not in a really good spot, but it's good body block by Blaze Nova here, making sure that not too much can be clicked on. When you're that big, just stand on your 80 carry and it saves them.
Does get the flash and heal out, but they have to use their own flash and ignite, so not the best trade, but it does force them out of lane for the second time, and sadly for Short Hop, only able to find another Doran's Blade, boots, and a dagger. So this has been a bit of a disaster in the early game for Short Hop, falling very far behind. Kaisa potentially going to be able to come back shortly with a Cutlass, and that's when things will really get out of control.
We were just talking about runes a bit. I noticed sometimes the Jinx would take the lethal when you don't have to get too much healing in lane, and it's a good thing she didn't, because fleet footwork is necessary here. Almost getting taken down all the time. 51 to 29 on that CS, and still only able to pick up a little bit of attack speed coming back, which is super rough. Getting minions under the turret has to get help from Blaze Nova here, so they have to cycle those minion waves really, really well.
The one advantage from that bot play and the gank that just happened, they were not there to contest the mark. So Julius is able to pick up his first Kindred mark, and now we'll start spawning on camps. If Julius can keep up this having that has been pretty good, all things considered, he might be able to grab a couple more of these, and they'll also be able to grab a Drake.
He's been flying through the jungle, 48 to 33 in terms of the CS for those junglers. Red buff's going to be taken as Avi's keeping himself mobile, knowing Dragon went down. He can get a little top map freedom, maybe. He could be seen by Julius here. We have seen a quick rotation. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a fight for this.
Do not want to give this one up, expecting him to go over there. And now
he is cruising with that Cloud Drake. Oh, he didn't get it. That would have been perfect. All that walk for nothing, and bye-bye, says Avi.
Yep, Avi gets that smite. It looked like Julius had his and a level advantage, so a little surprised to see him not be able to grab that one for himself. But Avi makes the steal, skedaddles on out of there, but might not be the end of the skirmishing as Red Western starting to invade.
Salty run back. How bad do they want this red buff? Infernal Chains go out. Gets knocked into it. Nicely done. But he's still going to have the passive. You got to be careful.
Now there.
Oh, Descraton, you get himself in a bad spot. Kindred Ultimate goes down. Who's this going to work better for? Descraton has his own. A second Kindred Ultimate coming out in this fight as they try to get themselves healed. But it's all UCI running for the hills as Western knew exactly what they were doing.
Scrappy situation in the top jungle.
That's an interaction.
Yeah, both grabbing their different abilities. I think he probably would have wanted the Orianna ult, but I'm going to assume it timed out or he used it somewhere else. The fact that he was forced onto that one, it's probably the better of the ults to grab between that and the Aatrox ultimate.
True.
But was not able to turn the fight with it. And first blood going over Descraton, now going to start maybe falling a little bit behind. Orianna is not an oppressive laner on her own, but when she gets ahead, can be tough to deal with.
Let's see how this all played out. So good aggression on Avi, and that's exactly what Descraton was like. Probably didn't want to take that Blasco.
Yeah, and at this point, you're down HP, and so you're basically fighting a 3v2, and Descraton does not have an Orianna ult to grab. The timer's still ticking down, so he has to grab that one. and doesn't really do anything to actually win you that fight. As well as, like we said, Avi being too low HP to actually take that fight. So, bit of a mistake there by UCI trying to contest. Should have been happy with the red side steal and conceding the top side jungle.
Is there diminishing return on double Kindred heal?
No. Unless you cast a heal, I guess.
Maybe, right? Good hit in.
Ooh,
Ducked
the
it
kidnap.
back. Beautiful job on short hop. It was actually a long hop for that one. And he goes down. Ultimate use as well from Youngbin, and they can just solidify these kills immediately. The crowd control allows them to pick out basically any target they want when those ults are up and take them down without too much trouble.
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yep.
Go back to what is supposed to be their win condition in the early game. Focus this bot lane, that top side skirmishing over buffs. It's not really what you want to be doing, so after that reset, Avi makes the right play going down the bot lane. They find that kill. Short hop down 30 CS, now down a kill, and some turret plating going in UCI's favor. Youngbin very far ahead, over 1,400 gold up, so great start for him.
Looking on the other side, we have Rift Herald happening for Western Ontario. Julius, 3 stacks in, as you can see on your bottom left-hand part of your screen for Kindred's character mark. One more stack, he'll get that range upgrade and a bit more playability and just being able to get in and out of a situation.
This feels like we're getting into a split map situation. The fact that Youngbin comes back with his Blade of the Rune King completed just 10 minutes in. That's a very fast Blade of the Rune King. They also just got the Rift Herald on the side of Western. You have to assume that's going to go and be used in the top lane, potentially the mid lane. So feels like UCI is all in on bot lane, and Western needs to start getting advantages in the top lane, because I really don't think you can hope to defend underneath the turret.
Bit of the CS lead here, but good cleanup from Daskerton as his blue was just traded off. Good ward clearing on the bot side by Bloodwater. Feels like they want to make a play down here quite soon as they're denying everything from Short Hop and Blaze Nova. We haven't really seen Julius come down to try and fix this lane, though. I believe that at this point, Short Hop and Blaze Nova are on an island, and you're kind of hearing, don't let anything else happen. We're going to play safe, let the rest of the map carry here, and Julius is up top. We're trying to make that happen for Gorica.
Yep, like we were saying with that Rift Herald usage, exactly where you expected Julius to want to go with it. This is the right play, but it is a bit of a telegraph that they are giving it up. And Western's bot lane has actually rotated to the mid lane, completely sacrificing this bot side of the map. Not the cleanest rotation, but overall the right idea. Start breaking these maps open because you don't want to leave Jinx in the one, or I guess the 2v2 bot lane. You want to start getting into these kinds of push and pulls with creep waves, but they might be in trouble.
I was going to say, they're going to keep it going. Dragon's going to be up, so just after this turret, they should be able to pull back. UCI picks up a Drake for themselves as well. That'll feel nice. They did get a second hit on the turret. Nicely done. I wondered if Captain Nuke was going to stay to try and defend this. Julius was backing, but they decide to change their mind and stay for the turret takedown. Teleport now coming in on the top side. That does not feel good. Cannot stop it anymore after recent patches. The shockwave is in, but it's not going to be enough. They have the Lamb's Respite to keep the team alive. And Western looking great in their engages.
Yeah, really nice trade of objectives there for Western.
Dragon wasn't even grabbed either.
Yeah, they didn't even actually get the Dragon. Good call as Deskerton TP'd into that to try and save it. Such a late teleport. After the dive had been going on for a while, he greeted out the recall. You can see on the minimap there, he actually finished recalling, going into base, and afterwards starts recalling it.
Oh, you're right.
Yes, because he wanted to get one more purchase before that. But now, instead of TPing without the right items into a 2v3 under turret, you're TPing into a 1v3 with the right items. That's not going to win you that fight.
But you wanted to, you were about to see how much more damage you were going to do with the new item. That's why I would have gone in.
Well, hopefully.
Like, I've bought a BF sword. I can fight everyone. Yeah, it happens. It's tempting. Almost as well. Captain Nuke, if he had just missed that last hit, World Ender gave Gorica the distance he needed to close that kill onto Jax. I think the chase might have given him a little bit more time under turret, but still tough stuff for UCI. They still get back on the map to get this Drake that was not picked up, so nice job there. And they're able to get themselves a little more sustain, help in these lanes, and the ability to push back onto Western. 3-1 though, not too much has happened. It's just got a little explosive over the past few minutes.
Yeah, all things considered, I think Western should be pretty happy after what was a pretty disastrous start in the bot side. They have correctly attempted to snowball the top lane on their own. And like we said, the better late game team fighting team. And UCI does have, you know, that potential 1-3-1, but neither part of the ones are off the ground. Both Jax and the Silas have died multiple times. The 3-kill Aatrox will be able to handle them quite easily, which means it's probably going to come down to team fighting, and you have that in your favor. You scale better.
Pretty slow on the Rift right now. Only bit of river vision is calming things down as we see everybody get back on the map. Here come the sweepers and the replacing of wards. Get a little more engaged here. Still have the mark for Kindred over on the left side of the map, and that is the 4th mark for him to be picking up. So he would love to get that, but not on the docket right now.
One of the nice parts of a split map situation is you sometimes find yourself a couple of marks quite easily.
Yeah.
And so he's not too far off the upgrade. Just one more. Uh-oh, here's the dive.
Huge engage. Who's the first to abducted? He says, you got to kiss just for a second. It's going to be Blaze Nova possibly going down. Just a miss on the Mega Death Rocket. Avi gets himself out safe. It looks like he doesn't have his passive. He wants to stay safe. Flash and alt used there. Young Ben trying to dash backwards. The red buff is not doing him any justice on this one. Julius tries to get in. Nice shockwave onto Descartan. He pulls himself into the fight so his team can make it out alive. Bot lane fight's going down, and Captain Nuke can't get close enough to take down Short Hop. Avi looks like he could finally go down after wanting to get out of the fight overall. Puts himself in a situation where he's about to get cooked up and cut down. They lose the amorphous blob that is Avi, and they have a great fight on the side of Western once again.
I overall like the idea out of UCI. They are concerned about falling behind in this game if they do not make aggressive plays. They try and force a dive in the mid lane, but Western is there to counter that one out. And things go from bad to worse, as not only does that dive get cornered and turned around, but Julius grabbed his 4th mark on the tail end of that.
Oh, making it in. He's kind of considering the pathing as he does it. A little bit of harass here from Blaze Nova and Slasher as they try to take down this turret in the mid lane. Looks like bottom just dropped for each team, or respectively turrets on either side dropped in that 1-1. We'll see this fight one more time. UCI saying, we gotta go, let's pull the trigger.
Yeah, and one of these situations where they were just kind of a little split in their focus, Descartan came around the side and tried to get a stolen Braum ult off for damage, but they actually kidnapped them away with the Zac out of that situation, so they didn't land onto the primary target. They were initially hoping to get Slasher, but he had kited it out. They ended up on Blaze Nova, not the target you want, and then just not knowing when enough is enough, Avi goes back in, maybe trying to protect Youngbin or thinking they can actually turn that kill, but the rest of Western's still around to grab a 2nd kill. That's his 4th stack that he grabbed right there, and actually got 1 more off the frog, so up to 5.
A lot of flashes there used on both sides to get it. I think 4 actually were used on the side of UWO, Western. Captain Nuke now trying to get out of this one. He uses his jump. Everybody's got a lot of flashes down. With the engage of UCI, I feel like that could hurt Western quite a bit, but they have seemed to be able to figure out these fights orchestrate well, no matter how bunched up they are. Youngbin takes down top, a little bit of gold for the team, and looks like mid's going to go down here with Julius and Slasher putting down the damage. No engage, thought something might be coming from the top side as Avi and Bloodwater are Bash brothers at this point, just roaming, waiting for an engage to come up anywhere.
Yeah, but Western doesn't mind sacrificing some turrets if they're getting some of their own. They grab the mid lane one, they're accelerating the pace of the game, and with a 3,500 gold lead, that's exactly what Western wants to do. As scary as Youngbin is in a potential 1v1 or 2v2 for this bot lane, as long as they have more members showing up, they should be okay.
Pops him, the ultimate's there though, they could get the abduction in. He's actually gonna go down while he's trying to do it. The good kill coming in for Blaze Nova, and as he goes down, they are gonna be able to get the kill in for Callista. Nicely done. Bloodwater makes it out alive, as that is a whole bunch of back and forth fighting, as everybody was throwing haymakers under the turret. There's a 2 for 2.
2 for 2, not what you really want for the side of UCI with Callista at this point in the game. A good reaction by Short Hop and Blaze Nova playing that one out. There was no passive for Avi, so usually the very annoying Zac who goes flying in that you can't focus down, well, you can focus him down now. That's exactly what they did.
I was gonna say quick fingers by Blaze Nova there, but overall Short Hop and Blaze playing a decent game. Yes, they're down in CS, but man, did they have a rough laning phase. A lot of damage done in the beginning because Youngbin, Bloodwater went in at level 1, and Short Hop and Blaze Nova really staved off, mitigated dying quite a bit, and they are a factor in this game. We've seen it in the team fights here. They're able to put up some kills as it's a 3v2.
Yeah, and the fact that the Braum had the ultimate interrupt on the Zac
That was
E
nice.
negated a large part of the damage because, you know, Zac will max that E first. So
That looked funny.
that would look pretty troll. But yeah, well played by the bot lane of Western to make that an even trade of kills. And on the back end of that fight, Julius, who has silently become the second marksman player for the team of Western, has picked up the Blade of the Rune King. So even if you are denying this Jinx, well, you got someone else you have to contend with.
Skirmishers too, so you do not want to meet this guy alone. There's no way you're winning the fight. Ward clearing coming out now. Look at all that vision score Julius is picking up. Boom! Nicely done. And just making UCI feel a little bit more stressed out about the situation, so they walk a little bit further. It's way easier to check a face check with Braum than it is with Nautilus, so any chance they can get to put damage onto this UCI team, Western will enjoy it. Baron's up. Vision is in control of Western now as they have a whole security system up there, as Avi is now trying to discombobulate. Doesn't even get a ward in, though. Feels unsafe being up there.
Yep, they do have a pretty strong Baron team comp, so they have to be careful. The Jinx is far enough behind that it's not as threatening as it could be at 20 minutes if she had a completed Zeal item.
But two Dorans.
But two Dornus Blades, right, Riv, and also a Blade of the Rune King Kindred. Means that they have a little bit of threat onto it, but it's probably not a serious consideration for the next couple of minutes.
She picked up a Zeal as well on Julius. Where is he getting this money? He's got coupons. Some bounties to be picked up, about 550 gold overall between Gorica and Julius. I'm saying that would be nice on Descraton right now. He's actually had a game where he's getting a bit of utility and team help and resources around the map, but the kills are not coming in, so his pockets are a little light at this point on items.
Yeah, definitely struggling this game compared to that excellent Vlad performance on a single item. Not at all what you want to see. And even, you know, just down across the board, pretty much behind in CS in every lane, but bot lane. Top has largely equalized, but you also have, you know, almost a Flame Horizon in the jungle. A little concerning.
But you question, is this UCI's trap card? They're about to become really powerful, right?
They're supposed to be the fourth quarter team.
Here we go.
We'll see if that happens this game.
We got
I
about
have my
10
doubts.
more minutes. 10 more minutes. They're still charging up.
What quarter is this?
I'm not sure.
They need this game to end before halftime.
There you go. You heard it here first. Top analytical remarks. Cloud Drake for Western allows them to keep going back and forth through these lanes. You can actually see everybody at UCI milling about their jungle, trying to stay safe, but having to take the long way around. As UWO kind of has this pathing, they can dip in and out of the jungle since their visions push forward. Get to these turrets, push up the waves again. Working to the bot lane. Julius, does he have 4 yet? He got 5. Now he's got 6.
Yep, he is
Another 2 more. It happens again.
Very strong boy. And I think they'll probably play it a little slow, maybe grab that third Cloud Drake, because for some reason College loves Cloud Drake. Still have not figured out exactly why that is, but oh, hold on, fighting the top from here.
Ultimate stolen, ultimate used. Slasher not looking good here. That's the depth charge going out. He's definitely locked up for crowd control. Julius can't answer back to help his teammate. A nice Fates call goes in. They have rooted down Blaze Nova, abducted back, and now another Lamb's Spike comes down. Will they be able to use this one efficiently? Short Hop is going to be taken down, rended right out of the game. That was huge damage coming in from Youngbin, and this is going to be a Callista on Baron with the team.
We're
That's
in
secured.
the fourth quarter, Riv!
There it is.
As soon as it started, they find a fight out of nowhere.
Western
Slasher.
had him in the first half.
Not gonna lie, they had us in the first half.
Can
But
he do it?
They found Slasher.
It's still a 50-50. It might be like a 60-40. Okay, he's not
Nah,
gonna
he's not
try.
gonna
70-30, 80-20, walking away 90-10.
They got Callista Ren. There's no way he's gonna contest that. Smart by Julius to not bother going
You
for
can
it.
still rend wrong.
You can, but most people don't. And I just don't. This is what I was about to say. You know, I just don't know what he's doing running through the top side of the river like that without real vision control. He's not only cut off by 2 members, but Bloodwater and Youngbin. He's just in the middle of all of them. And he baits the entire team into that
Just
fight.
Svenning it.
Just spending it, exactly. Youngbin is able to finally get the cleanup, and here's that Callista Kindred interaction that you see. Short Hop does get the heal, but look at all those spears. Gets exploded coming out of that Kindred
That
ultimate.
was crazy. Pin cushion Short Hop over here. Torn asunder. Let's see this. Oh, there's a roller coaster ride. pulling it back, and that's UCI now.
Oh.
You don't see the blue just yet, but UCI has pulled that money back almost into their favor, just down 1,000 gold now. Bloodwater feels like they have the chance to initiate in just one fight, and you see how fast the game turns. It's really about a matter of where that fight takes place in the game as well. If you have an objective like Baron up, you cannot afford to lose members like that in front of the objective.
It should be noted, though, that they're not out of the woods yet for UCI. This Baron has neutralized the gold lead, but
It's like a pause button.
It's a pause button, exactly. Western probably still has a better late game, so they're going to need to continue pushing this, convert this into some more turrets and objectives to actually grow themselves a gold lead, and then maybe they can get enough of an advantage to actually be in control of this game. Captain Nuke is starting to get closer, still an full item behind Gorica, though, so he's got an uphill battle ahead of him.
Wonder if UCI's fights become big enough. They have to pull Gorica over. You have Jax on side lane duty, whacking away at the turrets. I think Gorica and the team can afford to keep it in a 4v1 situation for now. They're doing a good job at kind of resisting the fight, as well as taking the one when it's in their favor. Julius usually on the front end there with Gorica. Top, however, being pushed by Descraton, so they've kind of switched it up. Jax will not be the one pushing, and they say, how will you now decide to split this? As they go for a bit of the 1-3-1.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're saying. Their team comp was built to do. Unfortunately, they are weaker than the respective team soul laner, so even though this is the correct macro decision, they don't have the items to fully support it. And even with the Baron buff, they're struggling to convert it into turret damage and turrets taken. So you can see how much pressure UCI is under to actually make some use of this Baron buff. They have another minute left. See if they can get anything.
It'll feel so much better when Short Hop can get that Hurricane into his inventory, especially when you're in missile mode. So yeah, very far behind for him. Currently sitting on 800 or 900 gold, I should say. So a little far away to get those daggers and then the finished Hurricane item in his inventory. Another turret goes down on the bot side of the map. They do have good wave clear though to kind of stop this Baron, so I don't think UCI is going to get too far. But a good job by UCI to make sure they were going to get something off of this objective. Whoop, chase down. Remember that Cloud Drake, double cloud to single.
He will have a play the Rune King for a slow in a second here, lands the E first.
Cripple him, and not able to follow up with that damage. Nice try by Wolf and Kindred. They get out, or Wolf and Lamb, I should say.
Yeah, but it did protect the top lane turret. UCI with a nice little rotato into the bot lane did pick up one of the turrets, but that was all they got. You know, a 3,000 gold Baron power play is nothing to turn your nose up at, but from being down 3,000 gold has basically only neutralized it. They're going to need to find some more big pickoffs onto Western for this game.
It gets harder too, right? Because while you're doing great and you're pushing your advantages, you have to make sure now Western comes out into an unsafe position, or you have Avi trying to dive base walls, trying to dive a little too far into a turret. So the better they do, the harder their initiations become on the side of UCI here to find Western in an unsafe position. Always hugging these turrets as well, and they're keeping up great vision on Western to stop Avi from getting in there with any more slingshots.
Yeah, but from here on is where Western needs to start pushing out a little bit. The enemy team had Baron previous to this, so they have the little bit better vision line at the start of this. But Western should be able to group up and push out through that mid lane.
Still getting split a bit. Gorica and Captain Nuke going to come over now, possibly bring that fight. Now Gorica stays for one more wave. No initiation onto Youngbin or Avi. Nice to see that Guardian Angel for him. Supports don't have to guard him just as much, but definitely make sure if he goes down, they are hugging that guy.
Slasher, buddy, got to be careful with the pathing that you take through your own jungle. Almost picked off a second time in a row.
It's getting scary. You get it in your head because you want to help make plays. You want to get vision, and you put yourself in that sore spot. Gorica with the flash, double flash from either side there.
Did get the TP out though.
Yep. Push down the wave. They are getting UWO to go through their base, so they have the upper hand on the lane, but it doesn't mean they're going to be able to get the turret. Like we said, good wave clear coming from Western as they push out UCI, and no other waves are really ready to get pushed up here. They've kind of closed in their 1-3-1 and brought everybody down to bot with that TP.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job even without the Baron buff of moving around the map and setting potential plays up. Almost trying to pick off in the top jungle before transitioning that kind of advantage into the bot lane, almost hopping onto Gorica, who is still you know, a little bit further ahead. Jax actually just finished the Spear of Sojin, so kind of equalized in the top lane now, which is one of the positions that was a concern. that might be enough to start making Jax a serious threat in the side lane.
We'll see. He's about to meet up with Gorica soon. He's been in his face. That great kind of evolution of Captain Nuke throughout this entire event with the Collegiate Championship. Really, the top lane was kind of left on an island. The team said, yeah, we'll come up and help when we can. The Rumble pick has been banned away here. Did decently on the Aatrox, and now on the Jax, he's been able to actually put that pressure on. And really what the team needed here from the side of UCI. We see it coming out, like we said, in that fourth quarter. Dragon's going to be up soon. Ocean Drake, and a double one here for UCI if they can pick that up to keep this pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that fourth quarter rally, allowing them to equalize the itemization in the solo lanes will allow them to potentially win this game through split pushing and setting up picks through the fact that they have split the opponent up. That was the problem their comp was facing before that Baron, was they weren't actually stronger than the Aatrox or the Orianna, but now it feels like they are. Jax can potentially just sit in the side lane versus him, and then they do these kind of baits around the Baron, try and catch someone in rotation. Maybe you find Slasher taking an unsafe path against short hop as well.
14,100 gold on Youngbin. 9,500 gold on short hop. You can see the difference between those two AD carries.
Yeah.
What happens if Youngbin goes down fast? That changes UCI's fight very quick.
I mean, luckily, Youngbin has some mobility to avoid basically the only dive on the enemy team, which is the Aatrox. He should be able to outplay that one for the most part. And, you know, you got the double flame horizon because while Youngbin is very strong, you also have Julius, on the other hand, more than 100 gold ahead.
And just to show you how kind of hard it is to see money, or how, like, kind of predict it, a 302 Gorica is only about 1,000 gold, not even, right now over his opponent in Captain Nuke. So Captain Nuke has been doing work to stay in this game right now, both with quite a bounty on their head as we get up to another Baron attempt, 31 minutes in. Ocean Drake's just a cloud of Western. So you can see UCI kind of go in for the pokes, back up, feel good about the situation, and play the long game here.
They are doing a good job of baiting around the Baron. This is what won them the game last time, was their Baron plays. Can it work again?
How much are they pushing for it? Captain Nuke doesn't have the initiation that he wants. Obvious now the target is they have hesitated on this initiation. Captain Nuke brings back Nova, gets that Witcher's Bite onto Young. Putting in the needles. It's not going to be enough, though, and this was the fight they didn't want after the initiation of Avi. It should have been a turn, and Western is going to bite back hard on this one. The Stallions running down the mid lane, and they are going to get some good pressure onto the side of UCI's map.
UCI not sticking to their win conditions. They collapse around the top jungle for a 5v5, and Western do an excellent job kiting that one out and then focusing front-to-back team fighting.
That's what I was saying. It's harder and harder as UCI push their advantage to find those engages on Western outside of their base. 11-6 here. A last attempt by Captain Nuke as he goes in. The Lambs Spike goes down just for safety on the team. And wouldn't you know it, Western strikes back as UCI was crawling back into the game, and they are going to take game 2 over Irvine.
They tie up the series 1-1. Very well done by Western, taking that team fight comp, and despite some of the early game struggles in the bot lane and some dangerous decision making in the mid game, they eventually find their team fight that allows them to instantly close that game out.
2 game swingers there of a fight. We saw it once around 24-ish minutes, I believe, when it was Irvine taking it, then to Baron. You're like, wait a minute, they were on the back foot, now they're in the game. And we said it's all about at what point in the game you lose that pivotal fight. Here, that was to the base for anybody. And when Western came out huge after seeing Avi's, not like a misinitiation, it was the afterthought of that of yes, go in, no, don't, yes, go in. I think there was a bit too much waffling from Irvine.
Yeah, they collapsed the Jax down to set up a potential flank. If they have a really clean engage, great, but that's not really what your team comp is designed to do. So I think they got a little overeager, maybe thought they were stronger than they were. I mean, you are still, you know, only 1,000 gold ahead with the worst team fight team comp, and eventually the Aatrox comes in, he's able to get a takedown, get his blood well up, Orianna lands a big ultimate, and next thing you know, game's over.
Huge game of patience. I think that's what the series is going to come down to, because Western is always going to know now Irvine can come back at some point in the game. It's kind of like watching, is it 5K, is it 10K? It may not matter. They can have a fight that brings them back. So knowing that, I think the safety of Western is going to be troublesome for Irvine. unless they can get that early game going again. We'll have to see. For more on how Western equalized the match, or the series, I should say, let's hear from the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Riv. Welcome back, everybody, to the analyst desk. And they were definitely putting us to work the way that game was going back and forth. But I do want to get first thoughts on the draft, because in game number 1, we were talking about, oh, Western, they had the best draft, and then they ended up not getting the victory. But here, Crumbs, it was a bit opposite.
Yeah, so I think looking at the junglers is the biggest thing for me. The fact that you took away the Elise in the bans to make sure that you can get a Kindred, and then the Zac as an answer, Kindred doing very well into these tankier champions, and having that really strong ultimate. We thought we were going to have wild team fights. When Silas steals a Kindred ultimate, then you have another Kindred ultimate on top of it, stalling out everything forever. And it's very hard to gauge how is a team fight going to break out from here, because Orianna was also last picked into Zac, which is very difficult. Orianna does not have a way to escape or even distort Zac when he jumps in. So I thought that UCI had a really solid shot here, having a composition that can engage onto the backline, disrupt the Kindred ultimate, and pick off the mid laners, but it did not play out that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Zac is known as like a soft counter pick to the Kindred, but ultimately it's losing pressure early. And we saw that. Julius and Gorica are taking over the game through topside over and over again. Skirmish after skirmish, getting massive advantages. And again, just like game 1, Gorica had himself a game this game, and same with Julius. On the back of these two, they got huge advantages on top side, and at the same time, yes, Short Hop was falling behind massively in the bot lane, but it almost didn't matter because of the advantages they got on top. Here, this is like 15 minutes of the game, even pre-15 minutes, and they're on the T2 top with Rift Herald. Like, this is about as good of a topside snowball that we've seen in this tournament.
And it's important to remember that Jax is going to lose to Aatrox early on, just based on the abilities. Aatrox having to sustain, and Jax not having enough damage or cooldown reduction to really mow down through Aatrox. So you're trying to really hit those 2 item spikes with the Spear of Sojin and Trinity Force, which took a very long time until he did that. When he did, though, in the silence, he was crushing the Aatrox. He was forcing him back, but early on, they really hammered away into the top side, utilizing Kindred as well. And when you already take those 2 towers in the top lane, pressuring Baron becomes so much easier because your opponent is pushed all the way back.
And speaking of pressure, there was an engage that did backfire a tad, UCI taking that through, but it was UWO with Western University.
Yeah, and I love the aggression here from UCI, but just a slight overcommitment here under the mid T1 tower, biting off more than they can chew, and a really great turnaround here by the Aatrox, TPing in with ultimate active, and again, Gorica is just on the front line here, this massive Aatrox, and they get the chase down with Kindred. Beautiful ultimate there by the Orianna, catches the Silas, and here, you know, we thought that Western had the game won. This was like UCI's one chance to sort of get a foothold back in this game, and it was defended beautifully by Western.
But UCI needs to cut their losses. You just lost your Silas. What's a 1 HP Zac gonna do? What's a 1 HP Kalista gonna do? There's just nothing to do there, and so committing even further, you lose the Zac passive, which affects your next fight, and then you lose summoner spells, making it very difficult for you to then look for that engage after a fight has happened. So I think UCI needs to have a little bit more composure here. I felt like they actually had a window back into this game and then just gave it away like that.
Well, and that's the craziest thing. It kept me on the edge of my seat, I know that for sure, when we were thinking, okay, UCI looked like this was gonna be theirs until that Baron fight.
Yeah, and this is just a simple pathing mistake here by Slasher. Yes, he goes the wrong way downriver without vision, and yes, he's caught, but this is a sunk cost fallacy here. Just back off. You're never saving the Orianna. All 3 of the champions here from Western do not have to die. They could have simply been pushing the mid wave at this time. They go to help the Orianna who's caught. They end up losing 3 members, and now there's no way you can contest the Baron. So although it's really easy to pinpoint Slasher, yes, that's an individual mistake. This was a team mistake from Western that almost lost in the game. So being aware of the sunk cost fallacy for both teams going into the next game will be important.
Well, and I want to get your thoughts on that, Crumbs, the fact that it was a team mistake, but you've mentioned how the solo lanes are important. We saw that funneling into Gorica to get him in the position to close it. So when it comes to that final fight that we saw that allowed Western to close it and push it through and get those ridiculous kills, was that one of the key factors?
That was. I mean, look at how this starts off. Zac does not commit his ultimate, or does not land the knockup right away, and yes, he pulls some members back, but he's already out of the fight. This is a 4v5. It's already gone. Your main source of engage is out of the fight. So much HP is gone. There's just no way to come back from that point onward, so they needed to back off. The second the Zac goes in, let him be dumb. Let him do his thing, and you just have to back off. That's one of the hardest things about League of Legends because you're playing with your friends, like, I don't want to let you down, man. I don't want to go back and I could have helped you, maybe something, I could have turned it around. And you always think that way, but almost never does it pay off. You always have to say, I'll let you do your mistake, and in the VOD review, we'll see what happens or what could have been done better.
And every mistake catches up to you when you're in the semifinals leading up to this collegiate championship with everything on the line. So with the first draft being more oriented towards what we're traditionally seeing in things like LCS, and then some interesting changes in draft number 2, what kind of things do you think we can see out of draft number 3?
So again, UCI goes with the first pick, Silas, and Silas is known to be a very strong champion in the meta right now, but we haven't really seen any team utilize him to his full potential. He's not getting priority. He's not winning these skirmishes on mid. So maybe Silas isn't as contested as a pick as we thought. I think, though, again, you really have to start tackling Gorka's pool. This guy is carrying this series, and if you don't do something about him, it's going to be a quick series.
What about you,
I
Coach?
think it's all about the jungle. It's always been the role that affects everything else. And so Kindred, her ultimate, changes team fights drastically. We saw Avi being able to use it to Leah in the last series. It's been permaban here. The Lee Sin was great. They're clearly giving him some sort of focus by giving him bans to give him better matchups. And so I think that junglers are having a really strong impact here. And people are slowly starting to prioritize these jungle matchups. It turns out they matter a lot. Last series, we ended up with Skarner against a Mumu just because the jungle was so valued.
I mean, you like to see it wild in the jungle, right? I wonder how wild it's going to get for the rest of the series, because this series is tied. See how it's going to take home this series and hold it down when we return for game number 3 of UCI versus Western.
Are they scared?
Cash is not allowed. Dude,
Are they scared?
They have no. When do we start this game?
They're scared.
Guys, look over here.
Good luck.
Oh, hey, look, this game started.
Gets that Winter's Bite onto Young.
Big
Putting
blow.
in the needles. It's not going to be enough, though, and this was the fight they didn't want after the initiation of Avi.
Let's go. Chase, I see you too. Just kill her and take Baron. Can we end?